Chaitanya, you are in mute. Please unmute and start the session.
Hi. Hi, Ramesh. Hi, guys. Very good evening. Ramesh, are you good to start with or we'll wait for some time?
Yeah, you can start now. People will join.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Hi, guys. So just before starting the session, I want to give you one quick introduction about myself. Okay. So this is Chaitanya. Hope previously you might have got some session from Scholar IT Solution. And as I said before, again, Scholar IT Solution, one of the best IT solution provider, who is providing technical expertise on DBA, DevOps, or some other technologies, and they have some like-minded people who are providing training, support, as well as all sort of expertise in different technology across US, and now they started some opportunities from other countries as well. Thanks for that, giving me an opportunity to take a session on Nexus, and I'll try to take some basic things, not only basics, in fact, how we are going to use it, the session management system. I know that repository management system, management tool that is called Nexus. So before going to that, I just want to take you guys, small small walk through how the code is getting built and deployed. So this is typically how the CI/CD process used to work, and what are the tool sets we can fit in between that. And I would like to guys, to the session to be interactive. It is not like only I should talk about. Better if you have any doubts, any clarification, please can ask me in between the session. I'll try to clarify all your doubts as per my knowledge and as per my best of my knowledge. Definitely I'll try to clarify. Now, if you think about software industry, right? So when we talk about software industry, we need to think about the code, right? So that code can be any type of code. Means that code which is going to written, that will be multiple technologies, right? So we can talk about .NET, you can talk about C#, we can talk about. Hope you guys can able to see my screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible, guys?
Yes, Chaitanya.
Okay, great. So these are multiple type of technology, C, C#, C++, the multiple type of technology we can talk about, right? But so when we are trying to, or we are thinking about deploying the code or moving the code from the development aspects, right, till the code to move to the production, right? So there are multiple stages in between. And if you think about, again, deployment, so who else are involving in the terms of build and deployment process? Now the code is written by the developer with multiple technologies based on the the project which is built in. Now that code has to move from the developer aspects, from the developer to the production environment. Now, so do you think the code which is written by the developer, let's say in .NET, C#, Java, C++, C, or any technology in fact, right? So this code, when I am moving to production, definitely I'm not going to, build this code with, I'm not going to deploy this code as is. When I'm talking about as is, definitely I'm not going to deploy the code as a C++, the raw code which is written by the developer, right? Suppose I'm talking about Java. So if the developer has written the Java code, definitely this Java code is not going to move as is. We are not going to move any code as is to production, right? So how we are going to moving this code, and what are the terminologies, or what are the things we are going to use here, and how we are going to do it. So there are many steps are in between. Now coming to the session here, coming to here, now the code which is written, so the code will be checked out by the developer, and again it will be checked out by the developer, again it will be checked in by the developer to the respective source code management system. And if you think about source code management system, there are multiple source code management systems are there. You talk about GitHub, we talk about Bitbucket, Stars. There a lot of source code management systems are there, right? Now, what quick question is might be coming to your mind? What is a repository management system? So we are talking about repository management system and versus you can talk about source code management system. So any idea what is the basic difference between this? Yep. Any difference, guys? Any thought about this? What is the basic difference between these two? And what are the tool sets are being used for these technologies? Any thoughts, please? Anybody? Chetan? What is the basic difference between these?
Is something like the artifacts, whatever we have built, that could be saved it in somewhere with the tool. That's what we call it as. Is my understanding correct?
Okay.
Source code is actually pushing the code by developer, but once we build the pipeline, building the artifact, if we call it as Azure DevOps, there is something called artifact. Right? The artifact should be on drop location. Something like if I'm understanding it that way, repositories to be saved in somewhere and picked up by the release pipeline for the deployment or the delivery. That's what my understanding.
I think I am missing you. Maybe your voice is not coming properly. If you don't mind, can you please repeat?
Maybe my audio is not well. That's what I can see through app actually. Sometimes it is locked. Is my voice audible now?
Yeah, it is audible. Yeah.
No, what I'm understanding basically artifacts, we call it as in the Azure DevOps. So that how to maintain the built application from the source code. To manage something, we are talking about this repository management. That's what I understand in such a way.
See, Azure DevOps, when you are going to talk about Azure DevOps is, it's a bigger terminology, So if you are working in Azure DevOps, so there are a lot of things will be coming in between. Okay. So Azure DevOps, because everything you are getting in a single bucket. Okay. Because you can talk about code repo, or you can talk about
my intention to say that repository management, I understand that okay, whatever the built software by the code, we are putting those softwares in the repository and we might be picking up them for the building of or deploying somewhere. That's what my understanding. If I'm wrong, then you can correct me. Thank you.
No, your understanding is correct. See, there are two things. So if you talk about the developer aspects, so developers are very much, completely or linked with this guy, source code management system. Now, when you are coming about repository management system, so many cases people are thinking, both the things are same. Actually, it's not the same. Because if I'm talking about a GitHub repo, people will be thinking GitHub repository. So the naming, when it is coming under as a repository, people will be thinking that it is a repository management system, but actually it is not. So repository management system is something where you are going to store your build artifact. Store your build artifact. When I'm talking about build artifact, when I'm talking about build artifacts, what are the build artifacts? Let's assume I am building my code. Let's say it's a Java-based project. That project, when I'm building it, again I'll be using multiple build tools, right? So let's assume I am using Maven, right? Or I'm using NPM. I'm using NPM, right? Or I'm using, let's assume, MSBL, right? So these build tools will be creating the artifact, right? These build tools will be creating what artifacts. Now these artifacts, what is the artifacts? Mostly the artifact may be a jar file, right? Maybe it's a WAR file, or maybe it's a DLL file, or maybe it's a zip file. Depends on which technology you are using. Now these artifacts I'm not going to directly deploying. So what it is to happen basically, so there after creating the artifact, those will be stored in the repository management system. That is, and if you talk about repository management system, there are multiple repository management systems are there, right? So one of the mostly and widely repository management system is called as Nexus. You can talk about JFrog Artifactory. Okay, JFrog Artifactory. You can talk about if you are talking about code, AWS, this is called as Code Artifact. So where you can store all your artifacts which you are creating after the build. Now, why you are storing? Any thoughts why you are storing the artifact? What is the advantage if I'm going to store my artifact which is creating after the build? What is the advantage I'm going to get out of this? Any thoughts? Why I'm storing this artifact? I can create my artifact and I can directly deploy to the any of the environment, right? So why I'm storing it? Okay, yeah, thanks. Reusability. Anything else, guys? Why I'm using it? Anything else? See, there are multiple ways or multiple purposes why you are storing this artifact in your repository management system. One is, yes, you are absolutely correct. One is reusability. When I'm talking about reusability, actually you can talk about your backup plan. So you can backup that artifact or backup plan. Suppose you are deploying some code. Now that the deployment is getting failed. Then what you are going to do? Again, the backup can be taken in multiple ways, right? Backup can be taken in multiple ways, but one of the scenario, they are storing this artifact as a backup strategy. Now, let's assume I'm going to deploy the code. Suppose I want to deploy my code to my prod environment. Anybody doing the prod environment deployment? Can able to take how the production environment deployment used to happen? So what will happen once I build the artifact? I'll be getting, let's assume I'm getting the WAR file. This WAR file I can store in my artifact, artifactory management system or repository management system. Now, when I'm going to build the code, what I'll do, I'll take this code from here and I'll build. I won't be building the code in my build server. Okay, so typically how the build process used to happen. So used to have one continuous integration server. Let's assume I'm talking about Jenkins. I am talking about Azure DevOps, Jenkins, or Azure any tool you can talk about. So where I have my source code management system is here somewhere some other tool. I mean, again, which tool you are using? Let's assume I'm using GitHub here, right? Okay, so I'll be taking my code. I'll be building through Jenkins or any continuous integration server I'm talking about. And where I'll be building? I'll be building mostly in the Jenkins server or the Azure DevOps, wherever it is. And mostly that where I'm going to build, that will be a build server. That is something called as build server. Okay, and this build server, there will be a connection between your continuous integration server. If you are talking about Jenkins, you have to do a Jenkins master slave configuration. If you are talking about Azure DevOps, you have to create an Azure agent. So that naming convention will be changing. Okay, if you are talking about Bamboo, you have to talk about a Bamboo agent. The naming convention will be changing based on the which continuous integration tool you are going to use, right? So that is the typically, and after building the code will be taken from the source code management system. It will be built in the build server through your CI pipeline. Of course, you have to use one build tool here, right? Now, I'm going to use a build tool here. Now, once the build tool is completed or building is completed, I'll be getting the artifact, right? Now, this artifact I'm going to store. Where I'm going to store? I'm going to store one of the repository management system. So this artifact will be stored. This is one of your build process. Now, when it is coming to deployment, so obviously, if I'm talking about I'm going to deploy my code, let's say UAT environment or production environment, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take the artifact to here. I'm not going to build like this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to build the code taking from the artifact I'm going to build. Now, come back to the build server. When I'm talking about build, so how the build is going to happen? So I'm talking about I'm going to use some build tool, right? I'm going to use some build tool. Now, what the build tool will do? And if you talk about Maven based project, what I'm going to do? For building, I need to download some artifact or some dependencies from the central Maven repository. Let's assume I have central Maven repository where I'm getting my artifact downloaded in my build server to complete my build, right? So this is my central Maven repository. So this is where all the project specific dependencies will be stored. Central Maven repository where I can download my project specific dependencies to do my project build successfully. Now, for that, if you think about your organization label, now all the organizations, they are very specific the security aspects, right? So they won't give, again, when I'm talking about central Maven repository, so what will happen? There won't be any internet access, right? So how I'm going to do the build if there is no internet access? Guys, any thoughts? How I am going to do a build if I don't have any internet access to my build server? Please, anybody? Satish? Chetan?
Hey, I'm sorry, I missed your question. Can you come again?
What I'm saying, when I'm going to build, let's assume I am going to do a Maven build of this is Java-based project. I'm going to do a Maven build, right? So when I'm going to do a Maven build, obviously
Right.
I'm going to do.
So the build server should be either an agent which is an on-premises, or that could be a
Whether you can talk about a build server, build agent, there is no internet access. Then how you are going to do a build? How you are going to do
you can just to keep it in repository management system. So it is in our own data. I mean, you can keep that in our own repository management system where we have access.
Okay. So there are two ways. So one way you can download, as Chetan said. So what we can do? So when I'm dependencies, so what do you mean by dependencies? So when I am building my project or running my project, definitely all these classes or methods, whatever I'm writing, that is not my own methods and dependencies. That has to be downloaded from the central Maven repositories. If you talk about your NPM, that has to be downloaded from your NPM registry, and so on. So in that case, and again, that is hosted over the internet, right? To do a build or complete your build or make the build success, you need to interact with the central Maven repository, or let's assume it is NPM I'm talking about NPM registry. So how I'm going to do that? So I have to do a setup. Where I'll be doing setup? In this case, I required the same thing. I'm going to set up a repository management system. And what is the advantages? If I'm going to do a setup, what is the advantages basically? So what it will do, this repository management system, and we are talking about Nexus. So what it will do, it will download these artifacts from, so how it will happen basically, I'm going to run, let's say I'm going to run a command here called as mven package. MVN package. So what it will do, it will download this package from here. It will go to your Nexus or JFrog Artifactory or any Artifactory management system, and it will point to here. It will download one copy to the repository management system, and again it will give one copy to your .m2 folder. And if you .m2 folder, what is the .m2 folder? This is nothing but your local M2 folder where your dependencies will be lying. Okay, so now in this case, I'm not going to directly point you to my central Maven repository. Rather, I am going to my organization repository. Now, what will happen next time? See, this is I'm talking about this setup. I'm talking about from one project. Now, in your organization, let's assume hundreds of projects are there, right? So when those team are going to do the build, obviously that time those team members should not go to the central Maven repository, or you should not download those repositories or those artifacts for their build. So in that case, you have already one copy. Now that copy will be used for multiple projects. Means your build will be faster. This is one of the things all the companies are adapting this mechanism, because each and every time when it is going to central Maven repository and download to local machine and it is doing a build, but if your repository management setup is done, so no need to go to the central Maven repository. It will be downloading from your organization setup where you have done it, and it will be downloading and it will make your build success. Similar case, if you are talking about npm and all, so in that case you have to, there is one folder called as node_module. This is the way it is going to work out. Now another thing, when I'm done the build, so I want to store my artifacts. So what will happen? It will be taking this artifact which I have created, it will be storing in your central, in your repository management system. Let us do, for this we have to do some setup. If you are using Maven or if you are using npm, so some setup you need to do. Let me do one thing. Let me take one of the repo which I have. Okay, so let me take a repo. So this is one simple Maven repo which I have taken. So what I'll do a local build, and hope you guys are aware of doing what I can say, how to do a Maven setup of Java setup and all. You guys are aware of. So assuming you have done one Maven and a Java setup, all these things, so that you can do a build. Okay. Again, let's assume I'm taking July. So what I'm going to do, I'll download the repos. ng. I'll just give you git clone command. I hope you guys are aware of git branching strategy also. So one scenario is, what we are going to do, you are going to upload the created artifact for my future release or usage reusability. I can talk about one thing. Upload this artifact, that artifact which I have created after my build, where I'm going to store it. So let me store it in my central Maven repository. Sorry, in my Nexus. So cd. So what I'm going to do, mbn. Let's assume I'm going to do a package. So main package, what it will do, based on your pom.xml, what it is going to do, go to your pom.xml, check what exactly it is. So based on the pom.xml, it is going to create your WAR file. And this is who are working as a developer, they are aware of how the POM is getting created, and the developer will be created the POM, and they'll be checking what is the packaging structure, what is the version and all. They'll be creating everything, and based on that, it is going to create your artifact. What it will do, it will going to create a target folder. Inside the target folder, it is going to create the artifact. Now that artifact, we are going to store it, and initially it will be storing in my local machine. So change something here. Okay, so I'm going to comment this line out. Okay, so let me create another package. So obviously first time it will be, it will be taking some time to, downloading the artifact and all. So next time onwards, it won't take time because it will be downloading all the dependencies from the central Maven repository and it will be storing your local machine, local M2, then your build will be success. So if you see, it is creating the artifact based on the version and all given in your repository management system, in your pom.xml file. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the command instead of package, I'm going to install. Any idea what it will do? If I'm going to give npm install, what it is going to do? Guys, anybody who are working in Java based application, whether it's a developer or DevOps, that does not matter. You should know what is the command is doing. And if you see, it is downloading from the central Maven repository, right? It is downloading the build from the central Maven repository. Now, that's what I don't want. If I want to use my artifact management system, I want these artifacts, these dependencies should download from my local repository or Nexus or JFrog artifact, whatever the setup I have done. That's what it should do ideally. Instead of entering this, it is taking too much time. My system is slow. I'll do one thing. Okay, if you see, it has created the artifact and it is installing inside my .m2. So this is my .m2 folder where it is going to store all these downloaded artifact for my project. Okay, we'll go to this folder. If you see, all the artifacts are getting downloaded. Now, if I'm going to remove it, so what it will do, it will try to download from your central Maven repository first to the .m2. Oh, it's too slow, yeah. I don't know, it's running very slow here. Sorry for that. Okay, now if you see, there is no artifacts are there. Now, if I'm going to run the same command, it will try to download everything from my central Maven repository. Just check it. It will download here, and this type of build is same for across all the projects, Maven based project. So it will download all the artifact from the central Maven repository and it will keep in the local M2. Then it will make your build success. Right now, this is one way. Now, next time, whenever you are going to do a build, it won't go for a central Maven repository. Rather, it will be taking your local M2. And this is the typical way it is going to happen. Similar way, if you are talking about the NPM and all, it will put in your node module. And inside that, it will be download all the artifacts from your NPM registry and it will store it here. This is the way it is going to work out. Now, what I want to do, Oh, my system is getting. Yeah, if you see, it is downloading from the central Maven repository and it is going to store in my local M2. I have done one Nexus setup before. Okay. So let me take this, URL. So by default, Nexus will be running 8081. Let me do SSH, so it is very faster. Let me sign in. Okay, I have connected. If you see all the repositories I have done the setup. I have Maven releases, I have Maven snapshot, and these are the repositories which are created by default, and few of the repositories I have created for my usage. Okay, now let me check whether I could get to this much. Yeah, we are. Yeah, so let me create a folder. Dear Maven. Okay, Maven. So I'll do git clone. So hopefully this will be faster. So I'll be going to that repository. This code. CD to Java. Okay. Just what I do, I just change something. I'll change the pom.xml file. Insert. So I'll just remove the final name. And finally, if I'm giving the final name, what it will do, it will create a name with the same name. It won't give the version and all. Okay. So I'll just give mvm. Let's assume install. Hopefully it should be off. So it is installing Maven. Yeah. So let me run mvm install command. Okay. Hopefully it will be faster. Yeah, it's faster. Now, if you see, it has downloaded all this artifact inside this. So what you can just give ll. So if you see, all the artifacts are getting downloaded. Now, what I want to do, if I'm going to give mvn deploy, any idea what it is going to do? Anybody? Will it work? What it is going to
Yes,
do?
it will keep create war file in and keep it in the same directory, I mean same server.
Come it again.
Well, yeah, it will create a war file based on the whatever you are defining format XML file.
Then will it will be success or it will be failure?
We don't have format XML here.
No, I have format XML here.
Okay, you have that in repository. Yeah, you have it in repository. Okay. But
If
in
I'm
that
going,
format XML, did we define that Nexus path? Or it will be a local one because we are not doing it.
no, what will happen? So if I'm going to do the mvm deploy, so what ideally it should do?
It should create a war and copy it to a web app folder, a path.
Web app folder.
No, not web app. The deployment folder of Tomcat.
No. So what will happen whenever I'm going to use the deploy command, mvm deploy, so it will upload that artifact to your artifactory management system or repository management system. But to do that, you should have to do the setup. You have to do, two setup where you have to mention where you want to deploy. This deploy does not mean like you are deploying the file from your local machine to some other machine. It will be deploying that artifact which is created in the artifact management system. But for that, you have to do some changes in your pom.xml file as well as your settings.xml file of your pom, right? So if I'm going to my pom.xml file, so I should have something called as, what you can say, yeah, distribution source code management system. So what I need to do, I need to change this path, right? So what I'll do, so let me give my pom, Nexus URL. So basically, this is the browser, this is the URL I have. So let me change it. So here it is going to upload my artifact which is getting created. Okay. So still it will work or it won't work? Will it work? If I'm going to give mvn deploy, still it won't work because I should be authorized user. I have to. So I'm going to use mvn deploy. So again, that deploy specific artifacts or URL is getting downloaded. It is saying 401 is unauthorized. So then what I have to do? I have to download. I have to give my credentials of my repository. Okay. So what I'm going to do? So where is my settings.xml file? Just give where is so here is Maven. So it will be, you have to change the settings.xml file where you have to give, just give vi /conf /settings.xml file. Yeah, here you have to give the user, the server specific credentials. So here will be one session where you have to give server specific details. Yes. So where is my pointer? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me take this detail directly. I have Andy with me. So you have to give the server specific dependencies. So what type of artifacts you are creating and all these things you need to give it here, right? So what I'll do, I'll delete the server specific areas. I'll be changing to my settings. Okay, so again, this password also you have to make sure which password I have given and who is going to do this. This will be done by the person who is managing your artifact management system. This setup, this is one-time setup. No need to give all the time. This is not required anyway. Let me give it. Okay, now let me run this command again. Now, if what it is happening, if you see it is uploaded to this artifact or the artifact management system, whatever I created, it is going to snapshot, right? So you can go to a repo and you can check, go to snapshots, Maven snapshot. See, it is created. This is the version which I have created, and this is the artifact. And if you see your artifact, it is uploaded here with this name. This is the war file name which is created. Now let me change it again. So this is again, this is the pack, this is the what I can say. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to change the pom.xml to have a different version. So instead of 3.0, I'm going to give, let's assume 4.0. I'm going to give 4.0, right? Let me run the same command. If you see, you should get another artifact getting created here, right? So it is 3.0, now you should get the 4.0. And if you see here, it has given 4.snapshot, it's getting uploaded. Now this artifact which is getting uploaded here, it will be, you can use for the deployment aspects whenever it is required. So I'll be going for snapshot. See, now 4.0 has come. Now, if it is a release, right? Suppose I want to do a release. So what I'm going to do? Sure. Okay. So let me change my pom.xml. What I'll do, I'll just, instead of snapshot, I'll just give release. And who is going to do? Mostly this will be done by the developer. But again, this version also we can pass as a parameter to your pipeline or to your Jenkins or any continuous integration server, whatever you are using, right? Now let me do a deployment again. So instead of Maven, I know snapshot, it will go for release. Why? Because Maven understood if it is not mentioned as snapshot, it will by default understood it is a release. So now you go to release repo. You go to a release repo and see that has to be uploaded, right? Go to Maven release, right? And see, this has come, right? Now, if I'm going to do the change again, so it will be uploading another version. Which version you are looking? Let's assume you are going to give, I'm just giving, let's assume I'm going to give 4.0.1. right? So it is going to again upload with the new version or new release, right? So release is always 1, right? Now if you go there, you should get another one. Yeah, 4.0.1. Now if I'm going to run it again, will it work? Will it work or it will fail? It will fail. Why it is failing? Any idea? First time it worked, second time it failed. Why? Yes, guys. Why it is failing second time? Chetan? At least you should.
Already present. We have
If you are
already
going
have. We are already
now,
having that 4.0.1 war file.
okay, I understood your point. So let me do one thing. I'll be changing the pom.xml. Which version I have? Let's assume I am going for. Suppose I am going. No, I am going to the snapshot.
Snapshot. Okay.
Okay. So I have 4.0 snapshot is there, right? So I'll copy this snapshot version. Okay. So I'll just change 4.0. What is the one? 4.0 hyphen snapshot. It should be snapshot. What is the repo here? Check something here. Now then for you, if it is the case, now it should fail also, right? Because it's already present, correct?
Yes.
But will it fail? So if I'm going to do this, I give snapshots. It won't fail. No, I did one mistake here. It should be snapshot. Yes. Yeah. It releases to the snapshot. It didn't fail, right? Now let me run it again. Still it is successful. How many times I'm running? That many times it will still not failing. What is the reason behind it? Why it is not failing? So if you see 4.0 snapshot, you can have all the version -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on, right? So you can have multiple snapshots. You can, while you are doing your building, you can have multiple artifacts can be downloaded, uploaded. But if you are talking about release, can you have multiple release with the same version? Can you have?
No. Ideally, we should not.
You should not. So this is Maven is very, Nexus or Maven, you can talk about, they're very clever. So if it is a release, it won't allow you to do a multiple version. So it is different versions it is creating. Happen 1, 2, 3, 4. How many times you are running, that many snapshots you can have. But if they release will be always 1. So because of that, it is not taking. But yes, release can have, but I want to make, suppose there is a release with the change code, right? So that time I want to make it work. So what I do, I go to the repository management system. Okay, there is one option called as, if you go to the settings. So I'll be going with the Maven releases. Go to the settings. Okay, so there is one option called as redeploy. So if you see, it is telling, disable redeploy. So we'll make me allow it. Okay, and save the settings. So now which version I have before? If I'm going to the repository, browse the repository and check the release which version it has. So go to releases. So you have, let's assume 4.0. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the form now. Chetan, you forgotten then, huh?
Yeah, the snapshot and version.
Yeah. You can run now. Yeah. Ambient deploy. So now it will work. What it will do? It will override. It will redeploy with the latest changes. But previously it was not allowing it. So this is the default behavior Maven. This is the way you are going to use it. Now this is what we are going to do. You are going to store our artifact in your central Maven repository, in your Nexus artifact tree or repository management system. And when we are talking about deployment, so what I can do, let's assume I'm writing an Ansible playbook. If you see Ansible, they have given one nice model. Ansible artifact model. I can mention Maven artifact. So no need to do manually download. If you are writing an Ansible playbook, in that Ansible playbook they have given one option. Directly you can download that artifact and where you want to deploy it. So this is the way typical deployment. And if you talk about deployment, obviously you have to use some configuration management tool, right? So if you see here, it has given one artifact module. So you have to give a group ID artifact. Where you'll be getting a group ID artifact. Let's say this is the one you are going to use it, right? So you'll be getting the group and ID and artifact ID from here. Come down, you are getting, you take this group ID, take this artifact ID, take the version and give the repository name which you want to use it, right? So what it will do, if you see the model, what artifact Ansible people said, download this artifact, where you have to download, this is your repository URL, right? Then what is the username password? Then where you want to deploy. Directly, if you see this module, you can directly deploy to your Tomcat, because where you are going to, you are supposed to deploy. And if you talk about deployment of a Tomcat, it has to be the web app folder is your deployment folder. And if you talk about WebLogic, you have to deploy inside your deploy folder. Similarly, how many application servers you have, directly you should able to deploy your artifact which you have stored in your artifact tree management system. Irrespective of which artifact tree management system you are using, that is valid for this model. Is that clear? It is not about only releases, even though it is applicable for your snapshot version as well. Clear, guys? Now coming to the second option. So now what, for doing a build, if I'm going to install, if you see where it is installing, it is installing everything here. But I don't want to, and where it is getting downloaded, it is downloading from my central Maven repository. Now I don't want to download this from my central Maven repository. Rather, I want to download it from my Nexus. So I'm going to use a proxy type server for my artifact tree management system. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to do a setup in my settings.xml file. So no need to remember anything, guys. Nexus has given very good installation packages and some setups, right? So what you can do, if you check this one, Maven dependencies, so directly what I'm going to do here, if you see, just use the tutorials or modules, whatever they have given, you can have your own setup, right? And how you are going to do it now? Okay, let me do that. So already I have done a group setup. So what I'm going to do, this setup I have done. Only what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this setup, whatever I'm doing it here. So what I'm going to do, let me copy this URL. I think I've done it here. Let me copy this URL. So what I'll do, I'll go and change the settings.xml vi So where is my settings.xml file? Slash user div vi slash user share maven. Okay, conf slash setting.xml file. So what you have to do, there is already one mirror. See, these are the already some few things are handy. What you have to do, you have to just change as per your need, right? Already I have given my credentials here. So what I'm going to give, I am going to give in the mirror. This is what it is, right? That mirror name I have going to give my artifact grid. Okay, so I'm going to change this URL path. That's it. Okay. Okay, and another thing, you have to give repository ID also. You can give the repository ID is the access I'm giving, and that is also fine. It's not required. Any ID should be fine. Now, what I'm going to do. So before that, I want to delete all these dependencies, whatever you have. I am going here. So what I'll do, rm-rf, all this content, whatever I have, I'm going to delete. Okay. Okay, let me do the command again. I'm going to run, let's assume, mvn package. So now, instead of going to directly central Maven repository, it should download from my local depot. It is going here. So if you see, it is going to the central Maven repository. It should not go to my central Maven repository. It should go to my repository, whatever I have given. So something I have done wrong there. URL I have given here. So I have missed here. Oh my God! What is this? Why I have given localhost? It should not be localhost. It should be my repository name, right? Okay, so I'll be copying this. Let me copy this. So let me delete this complete mirror. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use it. Now let me change my repository browser, IP. So copy. Yep, that should be fine. See guys, so now where it is going? Previously, if you see, it was going to my HTTP repo Maven M2, right? But now it is trying to go here. Now, if you see all the packages, whatever I'm talking about, right, it is going here. So before that, what I've done, I have created one Maven group where I have added my Maven central Maven repository. If you see here, if you go to this repo, now go to this repo and check it here. Browse, go to central Maven central. Okay, you should have all these artifacts. If you see all these artifacts are getting, maybe you can do one thing, you can delete all this folder. You don't require anything, right? So whatever it is there, so it will be automatically downloaded. Now, if I'm going here, if you see what it is downloaded, it is downloading org, CodeHash, Plexus and all. So let me go to org. Let me delete this folder directly. Right now, this org folder is not there. So this is something I'm using like a proxy repository. So what it will do, it will download that artifact and it will store your local, local Nexus repo, and then it is going to do your build. Now, if you see, org is not there, right? Now, let me download it, right? Let me run the command again. So now, if you see, it should automatically download org. If you go to Nexus, so it should come now. See, that folder has already come. So how many folders are required? So that will be, and from where it is coming? It is coming from the central Maven repository. It is keeping one copy and giving one copy back. So what it is doing now, when I'm running the command, so my build is always going to point to my .env2, right? Now, what it is going to do, it is trying to go from my Nexus first. Of course, Nexus don't have the setup or that dependencies. Then it is going to central Maven repository. It is giving one copy to here, then providing one copy for my build. Now my build is successful. Now next time, whenever I'm going to do build, now if you see, it took some time to complete the build, right? Now if you see, all the things has come now. Now what I'm going to do, okay, what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do the same build again, so obviously it won't take that much time. My build is faster because my build is pointing to either to my local M2 or to my Nexus. It will be very fast. This is one of the reasons. Now almost all the companies are pointing, what they're doing, they are trying to have their own build and they can able to do the dependencies locally and they can download whenever it is required. In that case, you are going to protect your servers from the internet hacking and all, because obviously your build server don't have internet access. Now you don't, in fact, you don't require an internet access for your build completion. Is that clear? So how to do the setup? So basically you have to create one setup. If you see the documentation which Nexus has given, so what they're doing, first, you can create a proxy repository. In that proxy repository, you have to give, so basically whenever you are giving a Maven command, so it is going to go to repo.1.maven.org/maven2. Now if you see the setup, whatever I have done here, I have done the same thing. If you go to the repositories, go to the central repositories, and if you see the setup, same thing I have done. I have created this because from here only all the dependencies supposed to getting downloaded. And this is the typical way all the time your build is going to happen, and you are not going to point to your central Maven repository, rather it is going to download from your Nexus, and it is one time activity. Next time onwards, again it can download whenever you do the build. Now another advantage, now this is what I was talking about, right? All the setup which you have done, it is for one project. Now next times if some other project is doing the build, so that time what will happen, again the repository will be taking the same time, or it is not going to go for central repository for the dependency management, rather it will be downloading from your Nexus repository. So this is something called as artifact management system where you can store your artifacts. This is one reason. Second, if whenever you are doing a build, your project is not a standalone project, right? So you have to have some dependencies with other projects. Now to get the dependencies, you have to send one email, boss, send me your jar file, send me your WAR file. Now, what is the advantage again? And all the services, all the cases now people are talking about microservices. So what is microservices again? So when I'm talking about microservices based deployment or architecture, so what I'll be doing, I'll be taking the individual jar file, I'll be taking the individual WAR file for my deployment purpose. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to in my Maven basically, sorry, in my, let's assume I'm using what you can say Ansible, my playbook. So directly I'll take the specific jar file or WAR file and I'll do my deployment. Basically what I'll do, I'll download that WAR file and I'll keep one folder. Then I'm going to run java hyphen jar, then the jar file name, right? So this is the, let's assume I'm talking about my app.jar file name. So it is running one individual deployment for my microservice, and everybody is talking about a microservice. If I'm going not use a microservice, and I'm going to use one WAR file. So I hope you guys are aware of what is a microservice and what is a microservice or something called as a monolithic application, right? Monolithic application. So now monolithic based application are mostly not there, I can say, because it's very complicated and you are not doing the decoupling. So because of that, all the places people are using microservice based applications, so that each and every application, every module can run separately. So what will happen in your pipeline? What I'm going to do, I'm going to write down, okay, see, again, there are two different ways. If I'm using any configuration management tool, it is very easy. Give my artifact system details where my artifact is present, and I can pass that parameter, the version basically as a parameter for my build or my deployment. So it will download that artifact from my Nexus or repository management system and it will deploy to the respective deployment server. Let's assume dev environment, QA, UAT, or production, anything. The concept is applicable for all. And this is again how many microservices you have that you can store in your repository management system and you can download and deploy at any case. This is I am talking about Maven based application. Guys, everybody clear about this? And the setup again, it is very straightforward. Please follow the setup. You should be good to do this. It is not my setup. It is what Nexus people has given. Okay. Now this is what we are talking about, Maven based application. Now if I am talking about next, NPM based. So again, the concept, guys, are exactly same. There is no differences at all. If you see, already I have created one Nexus repository. If you see, I have created one Nexus repository. There's something called as NPM group, and the concept is again same. So here also I have given, where my artifacts should. I have created one repo called as NPM registry. Inside the registry, I have given my NPM details. You see here I have given registry just npm.js.org. So what I'm going to do, same thing. I can download my artifact from here also, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, so again, the concept or that URL, if you follow this, it is again same. Okay. So I'm going to see, again, the concept is same. I'm going to create 3 different repositories. One is private repo, proxy, and group repositories. Okay. So these repositories, the setup, private, I have to give a private repository. Then I'm going to for a proxy repository. Then I'm going to do a central repository. Right. Now this I'm going to add to the central repository, and I'm going to give this URL, basically npm group, to my build. So what I'm going to do now, let me take one repo which I have. Okay. npm. Let me take this repo. Let me clone it. But of course, for that also I need to do a npm setup. npm. Oh, it's there. Good. Okay. So cd one step back. What I'll do, I'll just give git clone. Okay. So cd simple Node.js React. So what I'm going to do, but one thing you have to change, you have to go to the package.json file, right? Go to package.json file. You have to change which repository. If you see that, configurations here. So you have to create one folder. Let me do one. Let me do a simple build here, right? I just give npm install. Okay, so why it is taking basically, I have created one, where is npm. So I have my repository here. cd. So ideally by default it should go, if you see, it is going inside my npm. I mean to my local npm. Ideally it should not take it. cd simple. So ideally it should not take this URL. Yeah, if you see, it is taking this npm repo. So what it will do, it will download, and I have done the setup actually. If you go here, okay, so let me go to this repo npm group, right? So this setup again, this is very specific to an npm. You can guys, just have a look into it. Okay, so let me go to the npm repo. Npm registry. Yeah, so go to npm registry. You should be able to download all the project specific dependencies in my npm. See, all the things are coming now, right? So what I'm going to do, see, it is going, right? It is keep on going, and what it will do, let me delete this. So if you see, it will create one folder called as node underscore module. Let take some other repo. If anybody has an npm repo handy, oh yeah. So basically what you need to do, if you see as per the URL which is given by Nexus, so you have to create one file. If you see, you have to create one file called as npmrc. So inside the file, you have to give all these details. Then it is going to point to your project. So I have to repo. Anybody? Okay, let me check some sample in my one npm repo. So that is something different. npm. Okay, let me take this. Let's see. Same one here. Very less disclosure here. Okay, check this. So basically, why you are going to use npm? I mean, in Nexus to create your build, so you can download the npm specific dependencies to your for your build, and your build can be success, right? So let me check this repo. Where is the package registration? Yeah. So just let me run again npm install. It should not see. It is going to this repo. Ideally, it should not go to this repo. Okay, and it should create one file here. But I have created that folder because of that it is taking. Okay, I have already given that whatever I'm saying here, what I'm saying here in this, I have given this setup. So basically, you need to create one npmrc file, and inside the npmrc file, you have to give all the details whatever you are looking for. Okay, so I can give a try here. Get role. And I hope you guys know how to do npm setup. It is very straightforward. If you are not doing a class path setup and all, directly you can download, you can just yum install and all, it should work. Now, if you see, it is not going to the central Maven repository, or sorry, central npm repo. It is directly doing it here in your local machine, and it is pointing to the, npm registry. It is not going to my path, my Nexus, whatever the setup I have done, right? Now, if you see here, if you see, it has created all these folders and all. But if you see, it is not going to the central Maven repository. So what I have to do for the central Nexus repository, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one file, nvm.rc. This is what they are talking about, right? The Nexus people, they're telling just create one file here with this name. Here you can create one file called as this name vi. I'll go to this path, C drive users. Okay. Yes, just give these details. So you can just do some encoding here, keep these values. But again, these values has to change actually. So if you can do one thing, just give this value, you can get some value here. But what I okay, I have to do a base for encoder. I have to give my change my password here again. Okay. I'm just going to change admin, my password also admin. So you'll be getting this password. So what I have to do, I have to change this file which I have created here. Just copy these details. Ideally, it should point to your credentials which you have given here. Yes. So this password is an Nexus password, whatever you are going to use. Now, yes. Now, if I'm going to do a build, instead of going to my central Maven repository, it will be going to my Nexus repository where I have created. What I have created, it should go there. So this is the typically what it will happen. In this case, my npm build and all, npm build is going to point to my Nexus. It is going to point to my Nexus. So, and it will do a setup. And if you see my Nexus here, what it is doing, it is downloading all this artifact, npm registry related artifact from the central Nexus, central npm registry, and it will store here. And whenever you are going to do a build, it is going to give the details or give the artifact details for your build, and it will make your build successful. And what will happen? Advantage is again here, it is not going to, your build will be very fast because, and even though in your in your build server there is no internet access, you don't record anything. So your Nexus will be working like a proxy server for your npm registry. And npm also Nexus again, you can use your Docker containers, Docker registry. What are the dependency managements you are looking for? Nexus can be used for that. Yeah, guys, I'm done. Any questions, please? So if you see, this is definitely okay. It is not parsing, something I need to change actually. Yeah, any doubts, guys?
Document or that npm? Because any documents on that npm?
Document you are, I know you are doing the setup. You want to do a setup or what you want?
So the npm is working and how npm is doing.
Okay, how npm is working? Okay, see, I can share some documents. As of now, I have to find it again. See how npm is going to work. I'll tell you. Let me show you one diagram. So the way Maven is working, same way NPM is also going to work. What happened? So what is the command you are going to use? In your build server, you are going to give npm build, right? Or npm install, right? So what it will do? The way Maven is pointing to the .m2 folder, here in the same build server, build not server, same folder itself, it will be pointing to your node underscore module. Okay, it is going to point to a node underscore module. And in the node underscore module, the way your .m2 working, this node underscore module should have all these npm specific dependencies. All the npm specific dependencies will be there, you know, in your node underscore dependencies. Okay. If it is not there, so what it will do? It will go to your npm registry. It is going to your npm registry, right? Now it will download all the artifact, whatever you are looking for your build, and it will give to your npm node module, and node module you will make your build success. Now what we are currently doing now as through Nexus, I am not going to, because I am not going to point to my npm registry. Rather, what I am going to do, I am going to have my own Nexus repository set up for npm, repo for npm. In where I'm going to do, I'm going in my Nexus. Okay, so when I'm going to do a build, so this again, this process is always same, but instead of going here, it will go here. Of course, initial time, first time, it won't available. It will go to npm registry and it will give one copy here. That copy will be passed to your npm module. And to do the setup, what you have to do, you have to create one folder under the project folder or where your npm is running, call as npm rc, and inside the folder you have to give the details of your npm repo with your credentials encrypted format. Then your build will be successful. Is that clear? So next time you don't require any internet access for your build. And now advantage again, suppose you are going to do a build for another project. Now already your project specific dependencies are here, right? So when this guy is another project, let's say project B is going to do a build and he's running npm install, maybe same dependencies it is going to use. Now if you see the package.json file, you have all the project specific dependencies are there. So in that case, what it will do, it will go here and it will point directly to here. Now in this case, all the dependencies are there, so it will give for your build. So in that case, your build will be faster. If you have hundreds of projects will be pointing to your Nexus npm repository or Maven npm repository rather than going to your internet and fetching your dependencies. Is that correct? Any doubts?
No.
So there are many things you can do actually, but again the time does not permit to do more. But maybe we'll see some, see this, whatever we are doing here manually, we can do create a CI pipeline. So in that CI pipeline, let's say we may talk about Jenkins, or you can talk about any Artifactory management, any CI pipeline. So what I can do in my Jenkins, obviously what I have to do, I have to connect to my Jenkins with my repo. That repo point to your, of course, wherever you are doing building, your build server or agent, you have to have your npm setup handy. And all this command, whatever I'm running here, I'll be running through Jenkins. Of course, the branches and all, it will be taken directly from your repo, and it will do your build, upload your artifact, download your artifact, everything can be done dynamically through one click. Clear? Guys?
Yes,
Okay then, guys, any questions, any clarifications, please? Will this video, yes, it will be shared. Yeah. Satish, the video will be shared. Maybe you need to, do the registration. They will be sharing these videos to you. Okay, guys, if you don't have any other questions, then you can wind up. You can put in the KT expert chat So if you have any doubts and clarification, you can put it there. I should be able to clarify your doubts. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll catch you some other time. Thank you.